What would you do if the family you saved erased you? She gave them everything, and they gave her nothing. But when Elena discovered the truth, she didn't break, she changed the game. What would you do if, after saving your entire family from financial ruin, they erased you from their lives? Picture this. You spend years sacrificing everything you can. You drain your savings. You work day and night. You put every personal dream on hold, all just to keep your family afloat. You pay off their debts. You fix their home. You become the safety net for everyone. And then one day, you stumble across a document, your parents' will. Your eyes scan line after line, searching for your name. But it's not there. It's nowhere. Your sister, the one who never lifted a finger, gets everything. The house you saved from foreclosure, the car you helped them pay off, the retirement fund you contributed to, all of it, hers. You confront your parents, heart pounding, certain there must be some mistake, but their answer? You're strong. You'll be fine. Your sister needs it more. Think about that. Punished for your strength. Erased because you were dependable. Betrayed by the very people you sacrificed everything to protect. This isn't fiction. This happened to Elena. And what she did next didn't just change her life. It forced her entire family to face a harsh truth. Not everyone deserves your sacrifice. Not even family. Stay tuned, because Elena's story might just be the wake-up call you, or someone you love, desperately needs. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to stop giving. Elena wasn't the perfect daughter by traditional standards. She wasn't obedient. She didn't quietly accept everything, but she was the daughter who sacrificed her entire youth for her family. Let's rewind to 5 years ago. Elena, 25 years old, had just graduated from college with a wide-open future ahead of her. She dreamed of becoming a professional photographer, planned to travel the world and capture her first portfolio of breathtaking images. But then, one phone call changed everything. "Sweetheart, we're about to lose the house." Her mother's voice, Nora, trembled through the line. Turns out her father, Daniel, had been fired 6 months earlier, but he hadn't told anyone. Every day, he left the house pretending to go to work, spending hours in coffee shops, maxing out credit cards to keep up appearances. They owed $70,000 on the mortgage. Bills had piled up. Foreclosure was 30 days away. Elena didn't hesitate. She canceled the Europe trip she had saved for over 3 years. She drained her investment account. She sold her beloved camera, the very tool of her dreams, and she moved back home. "Don't worry, I'll take care of everything." It was a promise Elena kept for the next 5 years. She didn't work one job, she worked 2. Mornings at a local accounting firm, evenings doing remote work for another company, weekends filled with freelance gigs. No breaks, no vacations, no time for herself. Meanwhile, her younger sister, Lucy, 23 years old, still lived at home, half-heartedly attending college, constantly switching majors, rarely contributing to anything. Instead, Lucy spent her days partying with friends, demanding new clothes, the latest phones, always needing just a little more. "She's still finding her path," Nora would excuse. "She's more sensitive than you." Elena never complained. She paid off the overdue debts. She covered medical bills when her father was diagnosed with diabetes. She repaired the leaky roof. She replaced the old, dangerous electrical wiring. She even paid for Lucy's tuition, even though Lucy rarely showed up for class. Month by month, Elena wore herself thinner. Her eyes grew hollow. Her dreams of photography slipped further and further away. But every time she saw her parents smile, every time the fear of money seemed to lift from their shoulders, she told herself it was worth it. "They're my family," she whispered. "Family comes first." Whenever friends asked why she didn't put herself first, Elena would just smile and say, "My family needs me. Someday, when everything settles down, I'll chase my dreams." That day never came. Instead, What came was a brutal discovery. A discovery that would force Elena to question everything: what family really means, what sacrifice truly costs, and most importantly, what she was worth. And that is what we'll explore in the next part: how one simple piece of paper shattered 5 years of sacrifice and forced Elena to face the question so many of us are too scared to ask. Is my family's love conditional? There are moments in life when your entire world flips in a single heartbeat. For Elena, that moment came on an ordinary Sunday afternoon. Her parents were out at a friend's birthday party. Lucy was off hanging out with her friends, as usual. And for the first time in weeks, Elena was home alone. She decided to tidy up a bit, starting with her father's office. I should organize the tax documents, she thought, knowing her dad often misplaced important papers. While digging through a drawer, her hand brushed against a thick, carefully tied folder. Curious, she opened it. The moment she saw it, she knew exactly what it was: her parents' will, updated just 3 months ago. Elena hadn't meant to snoop, but as her eyes caught the first line, she couldn't stop reading. We, Daniel and Nora Martinez, leave our entire estate to our daughter, Lucy Martinez. Elena read the line again, and again, and again. She flipped through every page, desperately searching for her name, but it wasn't there. Not a mention, not even a keepsake, not a single cent. She had been erased completely. The house she saved from foreclosure, the car she helped pay off, the savings account she had contributed to, all of it left to Lucy. At first, Elena felt numb, then confusion, and finally, a searing pain exploded in her chest. There must be some mistake, she whispered, tears sliding down her cheeks. There has to be a reason. She waited in agony until she heard her parents' car pull into the driveway. With trembling hands, she grabbed the will and made her way to the living room. Her parents walked in, still laughing from the party, but their smiles died the instant they saw the paper in Elena's hand and the devastation on her face. I found this, Elena said, her voice raw. Why? Her father immediately turned away, unable to meet her eyes. Her mother sighed, a sigh that sounded far too rehearsed. You shouldn't be going through private things, Elena, Nora scolded, her voice calm, almost detached. Why am I not in the will? Elena pressed, fighting to keep her composure. I saved this house. I paid off the debts. I sacrificed everything. Her father, still refusing to look at her, muttered, This isn't something we want to discuss right now. When then? Elena's voice sharpened. When will we discuss the fact that I gave up 5 years of my life only to be erased from the family? Finally, her mother spoke the brutal truth. Elena, you've always been the strong one. You can take care of yourself. Lucy, she's more fragile. She needs more support. She's not like you. She can't stand on her own. It felt like a slap across the face. 5 years of sacrifice, reduced to one simple fact. Elena was too strong to deserve help. So this is my reward? She asked, voice trembling. I'm punished because I'm dependable? Because I'm responsible? Don't be so dramatic, her father snapped. It's just a will. We're not dying anytime soon. But Elena wasn't listening anymore. In her mind, everything had clicked into place. Every late night, every missed dream, every dollar she had given them, it all suddenly meant nothing. I understand now, Elena said quietly, her voice eerily calm. I misunderstood what family really means. That night, Elena didn't sleep. She sat by the window, staring at the night sky, and made a decision that would change her life forever. The next morning, as the family gathered around the breakfast table, Elena placed a thick stack of papers down, a detailed record of every dollar she had spent over the past 5 years. $70,000 for the mortgage, $42,000 for Lucy's tuition, $15,000 for medical bills, and a list that went on and on. I can't keep doing this, Elena said, her voice firm. Starting today, I will no longer contribute financially to this family, not a single cent. Lucy burst out laughing, thinking it was a joke. Her parents sat frozen, stunned. "You can't do that," her mother finally gasped. "We're a family." Elena smiled sadly. "I thought so too, but I was wrong." She stood up, packed her things, and moved out that very day. She rented a small apartment 20 minutes away, and she started a new life, one no longer defined by unreciprocated sacrifice. But the story didn't end there, because her family wasn't willing to let her go so easily, and what they did next would prove Elena had been absolutely right to walk away. When Elena moved out, she thought maybe her family would realize the value of what she had done. Maybe they would apologize. Maybe they would change the will. Maybe they would learn to respect her sacrifice. She was wrong. Just 2 weeks after Elena left, the notices started arriving. First, the electric bill, then the water bill, then the mortgage, all overdue, all unpaid. Elena's phone lit up constantly with calls and messages, texts from her mother. "Sweetheart, we can't pay the utilities this month. Could you help? Just a little?" Texts from Lucy. "Sis, I need $2,000 for tuition. I swear I'll pay you back." At first, Elena responded, explaining calmly that she was no longer financially responsible for them. But when the messages turned sharper, more accusatory, she stopped replying. "You're so selfish," her mother texted, "after everything we've done for you." Elena sat there, wondering, what exactly had they done for her? Raising her. That wasn't a gift. It was the responsibility they accepted when they chose to bring her into the world. A month passed, then 2, and things spiraled fast. The electric company sent disconnection notices. The bank sent foreclosure warnings. Lucy dropped out of school because she couldn't pay tuition. And instead of owning their mistakes, they did what toxic families so often do. They blamed the one who left. One evening, scrolling through Facebook, Elena stumbled upon a post from her mother, one that had racked up hundreds of likes and comments. "I never thought my daughter could be so heartless," it read. "She abandoned us when we needed her most. She lives in comfort while we struggle. Please pray for our family during this difficult time." Below it, dozens of comments poured in. Friends, neighbors, distant relatives, all condemning Elena, calling her an ungrateful child, a monster, a traitor. Lucy joined in too, posting pictures of herself crying, captioned, "When your sister has money but lets you starve." Her friends rushed in with their own attacks, calling Elena selfish, crazy, heartless. Elena felt like she'd been punched in the gut. This wasn't just a personal attack. This was a full-blown public smear campaign. Her family didn't just want her money. They wanted to destroy her reputation if she didn't comply. For the first time, Elena didn't just feel sadness. She felt rage. 5 years of sacrifice. And this was her reward, becoming the villain in the story she had bled to write. She had a choice: stay silent and let them rewrite her story, or stand up for the truth. Elena chose truth. She sat down, opened her laptop, and began typing a long post for her own page. No anger, no accusations, just facts. She listed every dollar she had poured into her family over the past 5 years, photographs of bills, receipts, bank transfers, a copy of the will that erased her, screenshots of the text messages demanding money after she left. She ended the post with a few simple lines. "I love my family. I sacrificed 5 years of my life to make sure they were safe and financially stable. But love is not a one-way street. I am not an ATM. I am a human being with dreams, hopes, and a future of my own. And I deserve more than betrayal and blame." She hit post and turned off her phone. By the next morning, her post had gone viral. Hundreds of comments, thousands of shares. Those who had condemned her just the day before were now apologizing. Those who had judged her were now praising her courage. And the little world her family had built, where they were the victims and she was the villain, came crashing down overnight. Her parents had no choice but to back off. They deleted their posts. Lucy set her accounts to private. The gossip stopped. But so did the communication. No apologies, no admissions of guilt, no attempts to make amends. Just silence. A heavy, echoing silence that lasted 3 long months. Until one stormy night, a knock at Elena's door woke her from sleep. Peering through the peephole, she was stunned to see Lucy, soaked to the bone, crying. Elena opened the door, and the confrontation they had both been avoiding finally began. Elena had never seen her sister like this. Lucy, who was always perfectly put together, now looked utterly broken. Wrinkled clothes, hair a tangled mess, eyes red and swollen from crying, and something else, a kind of desperation Elena had never seen before. "Can I come in?" Lucy asked, voice trembling. Elena hesitated. Part of her wanted to slam the door shut, but despite everything that had happened, Lucy was still her sister. Elena let her in, handed her a towel, and made a cup of hot tea. They sat across from each other in silence for a long moment. Lucy stared down into her tea, unable to meet Elena's gaze. "I'm sorry for what I posted online," Lucy finally said, voice cracking. "I shouldn't have done that." Elena nodded, but said nothing. She had learned that sometimes silence was the best way to draw the truth out. "Things are really bad, Elena," Lucy continued, tears falling again. "The bank's taking the house next week. The electricity's shut off. Dad can't afford his diabetes medication. I had to drop out of school. None of us have jobs. I've applied everywhere, but no one's hiring me." Elena felt a pang of pain in her chest. No matter how much Lucy had hurt her, Elena never wanted her sister to suffer like this. "I know you're mad," Lucy sobbed. "You have every right to be, but we really need you. Just this once. I promise things will change." Elena looked at her sister and saw something heartbreaking. Lucy wasn't here because she regretted what she'd done. She was here for money. "Lucy," Elena said gently, "I want to ask you something, and I want you to answer me honestly." Lucy nodded, wiping her eyes. "Did you know about the will? Did you know Mom and Dad left everything to you and cut me out?" Lucy froze. She didn't need to speak. Her face said everything. "I knew," Lucy whispered. "I've known for a long time." "And you didn't think that was unfair?" Elena asked, her voice surprisingly calm. "After everything I sacrificed for this family?" Lucy's sadness turned defensive in a flash. "It's their right. They can leave their stuff to whoever they want." "You're right," Elena said, nodding. "And it's my right to decide what I do with my own money." Lucy blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" "I'm not refusing to help because I can't," Elena said, voice clear and firm. "I'm refusing because I warned you. I made it clear I would no longer be the family's financial safety net. And instead of adapting, instead of finding jobs, instead of cutting back, you attacked me. You blamed me. You made me the villain." Lucy stood up, furious. "So that's all you care about? Money? Assets? You're really going to let Mom and Dad lose everything just because your name isn't in the will?" Elena shook her head sadly. "No, Lucy. This isn't about money. It's about respect. It's about being valued. It's about not being treated like an endless ATM. It's about being seen. As a daughter, a sister, not just a wallet." "So you're really not going to help us?" Lucy screamed, tears streaming down her face. Elena stood too, calm but unyielding. "You abandoned me first, Lucy, when you decided my 5 years of sacrifice weren't worth a single line in a will, when you decided your love for me came with conditions." "But we're family," Lucy shouted, grasping at the last card she had. "Family isn't a one-way street," Elena said, her voice steady, "and it's not a free pass for abuse and exploitation. We may share blood, but your actions made it clear. We are not family anymore." Lucy stood frozen, speechless. Finally, she grabbed her bag and stormed toward the door. Before she left, she turned back, her voice low and bitter. "You'll regret this. When Mom and Dad are gone, you'll regret not forgiving them." Elena looked at her, not with anger, but with pity. "Maybe," she said softly, "but I'd rather live with that regret than live the rest of my life being treated like I don't matter." The door closed. Lucy was gone. And for the first time in months, Elena felt a strange, beautiful sense of peace. A week later, a letter arrived at Elena's address. Not an email, not a text. A real letter. Written in the shaky handwriting of her mother. Elena opened it and read, "My dearest daughter, I don't know how to begin. Maybe with an apology, even though it won't be enough. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not seeing everything you did for us. I'm sorry for taking your sacrifices for granted. I'm sorry for not protecting you from the unfairness. The house will be foreclosed on Friday. Dad and I are moving in with your aunt in Florida. Lucy is staying with friends. We're all just trying to survive now. I'm not writing to ask for money. I'm writing to tell you, you were right about everything. We used you. We punished you for being strong. We betrayed you in the worst way. I have changed the will. It probably doesn't mean much now because we have nothing left, but I wanted you to know. I changed it. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know. I finally see the truth. I love you, Mom." Elena read the letter 3 times. Then she folded it carefully and tucked it into a drawer. She didn't reply. Not because she didn't care, but because sometimes silence is the only way to say that some wounds run too deep to be healed with words alone. Her family had forced her to choose between saving them and saving herself. She chose herself. And though it hurt, she knew deep down she had made the right choice. Sometimes love isn't about sacrificing yourself. Sometimes it's about knowing when it's time to let go. A year had passed since Elena received that letter from her mother. A year since she had made the hardest decision of her life, to refuse to rescue her family one more time. It hadn't been an easy choice. Those first nights after her confrontation with Lucy, Elena lay awake, wondering if she was a bad daughter, a bad sister. Society had taught her that family should come first, that forgiveness was mandatory, that blood was thicker than water. But Elena had learned a different, harsher truth. One she needed to learn. True love should never demand you destroy yourself. So what did Elena do with her year? She lived. Truly lived, maybe for the first time in her life. With the money she was no longer pouring into endless bills, Elena bought herself a professional camera, the one she had dreamed of for years. She enrolled in a photography course, then another, and another. At first, her photos were awkward, hesitant, but she didn't quit. She shot hundreds of images a day. She learned, she grew, and slowly a style emerged. One that celebrated the overlooked beauty of small, forgotten things. Cracks in the sidewalk bursting with wildflowers. Elderly men sitting alone on park benches, their smiles bittersweet. Children with bright, curious eyes, discovering the world for the first time. 6 months later, Elena held her first gallery exhibition at a tiny local venue. It wasn't a grand event, but to her, it meant everything. On opening night, she stood quietly in a corner, heart pounding, watching strangers take in her work. An elderly woman approached her, tears shining in her eyes. "You know," she said, "the photo of the old man on the bench. That's my husband. He passed away 3 years ago. I've never seen anyone capture his smile so perfectly." And in that moment, Elena knew. She had found her path. As her photography career blossomed, Elena also found another voice, through writing. She started a blog, sharing her journey, escaping a toxic family dynamic, setting boundaries, reclaiming herself after years of living for everyone else. At first, only a handful of readers found her, But slowly, steadily, a community grew. Men and women reached out from all corners of the world, sharing their own stories about families who took advantage of them, about the guilt of putting themselves first, about the terror of being labeled selfish. Elena answered every message, every email. She never claimed to be an expert. She was just someone who had weathered the storm and was willing to hold up a light for others still struggling in the dark. "You are not selfish for saving yourself," she often wrote. "You cannot pour from an empty cup." As her voice spread, she was invited to speak at events, appear on podcasts, and even give an interview on local radio. She had become a voice for those who had been taught to sacrifice endlessly for family, no matter the cost. And her own family? She hadn't spoken to them in almost a year. From a distant relative, she learned that her parents were now living with her aunt in Florida. Her father had found part-time work. Her mother was working at a grocery store. Lucy had returned to college, this time paying her own way with part-time jobs. Sometimes, on quiet nights, Elena still missed them, still wondered if things could have been different. But then she would look around at the life she had built, a life full of passion, purpose, and freedom, and know she had made the right choice. On her 31st birthday, Elena gave herself a gift, a trip to Iceland, the place she had dreamed of photographing since college. Under the swirling green glow of the northern lights, she set up her camera's timer and captured a photo of herself. Standing alone, arms outstretched toward the sky, face lit with pure, radiant joy. She posted the photo to her blog with a simple caption: "Sometimes the best way to love those you care about is to give them the chance to stand on their own. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is the courage to say no. And sometimes letting go is the most loving thing you can do." A week later, Elena received a message from an unfamiliar social media account. It was Lucy. "Hey sis," the message read. "I don't know if you'll see this. I guess you won't. But I wanted you to know, I understand now. I was angry for a long time, but having to pay my own bills, my own tuition, I finally get it. I saw your photo in Iceland. You look so happy. I'm glad. Truly." Elena read the message several times. She didn't reply right away. She wasn't sure if she even should. The scars were still there. Maybe they always would be. But maybe, just maybe, it was time to crack open the door. Just a little. "Thank you," she finally replied. "I'm happy you're finding your own way too. Not a grand reunion, not a sweeping forgiveness, just a small acknowledgement that both of them were growing in their own ways. And maybe that was enough." Elena's story didn't end with a tearful family embrace. Life rarely works that way. It ended with a woman who had found the strength to value herself, to set healthy boundaries, and to redefine what family meant on her own terms. Because the greatest lesson Elena had learned was this: family isn't just about shared blood. Family is about love freely given, respect freely earned, support freely offered. Sometimes family is the people you meet along the way. Sometimes it's the people you choose, and sometimes, most importantly, family is yourself. Not everyone deserves your sacrifice. Not every relationship is worth saving, and not every ending is a failure. Sometimes it's just the beginning of something beautiful. They told her, "You're strong, you'll be fine." But strength doesn't mean silence, and loyalty doesn't mean letting yourself be used. Elena's story is a reminder. Sometimes walking away isn't weakness, it's the beginning of freedom. If this hit close to home, tell us in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more true stories of power, pain, and rising above.